Good morning and welcome to the National Gallery of Victoria. I begin by acknowledging that we are on the unceded land of the Kulin people of Narn, which we now know as Melbourne. I'm on the lands of the Wurundjeri people and pay my respects to them and their elders. If you are joining us remotely today, I would like to acknowledge that many other people present in today's talk may be on the lands of other traditional custodians, and pay my respects to those communities, wherever they may be as well. Here we are. Welcome to the National Gallery of Victoria. My name's Paola Di Trocchio. I'm here to introduce the wonderful exhibition Gabrielle Chanel Fashion Manifesto. So what you will see in the exhibition is the design highlights of a woman's extraordinary achievement over her exceptional career and life. We have the wonderful occasion where her life is absolutely full of her achievements from the very beginning to the very end. So Gabrielle Chanel was born in 1883. She had some unfortunate she wasn't born to a wealthy family or in advantageous circumstances. Her parents died young, and when she herself was young, she was sent to an orphanage, but it was there that she learnt the skill of sewing that would transform her life. So when she was still a young woman, she began sewing, and fortunately for her, I think it was probably a combination of her skill and her opportunistic personality and attitude and desire to change the circumstances of her life. She convinced one of her lovers to set her up in a business, and the business was a millinery shop. So as you walk in the exhibition, the first thing that you'll see is a hat, and that's quite symbolic because it is that particular decision that changed her life and, in a lot of ways, the course of fashion history. So, coupled with that hat is a jersey overshirt, which is another design innovation that Chanel introduced to the language of fashion and, in particular, to the early 20th century. So, at that time, jersey, machine-made jersey, which I guess, again, contextualising it in the early 20th century, late 19th century, a machine-made textile, so a product of industrialisation. She's adapting that to haute couture. So a real contradiction in terms of materials and technique, but something that, again, is symbolic of her and the contribution that she makes to fashion throughout her career and beyond. So we have the hat and the jersey, and then in the 1920s in the exhibition we look at her other contributions, or the very beginning of what develops as her signature style. And this is the appropriation of masculine clothing forms as well as masculine fabrics to women's fashion. Now she takes that from the atmosphere of the time, from the zeitgeist amongst her, but also in a very personal and material way, taking literally the clothes from her boyfriend's wardrobes and wearing them herself. And this is revolutionary at the time. This is not what women did. But from that, she discovers the different ways that fabric can work around the body, the different types of fabrics that can be appropriated to women's dress, and from there she develops her design language. And her design language includes tweeds, which have a precedence in menswear, and also soft jerseys, which I mentioned in that overshirt, but also not just the sort of soft silk jerseys that drape, but firmer, thicker jerseys that she translates into jackets and skirts and shirts, which become the template and the format of what we see later in the post-war period in her reinvention of the women's suit. So from there, she has emerged as a significant Parisian designer. She says herself in 1919, she woke up one day and she was famous. So that sense, the the atmosphere, I guess, for her in the 1920s. She's very successful. She introduces another template of 20th century design and now 21st century design that we're very familiar with, and that is the little black dress. And she's not the only designer in the 1920s who's using black, but it's the combination of her personality, the way that she wears her own designs, and the meanings that she brings to that black that create the little black dress that we know today. Previous to that, black was traditional or largely known as a fabric associated with working. People in service wore black, and likewise mourning. Coming out of the First World War, there was a lot of black that was being worn, but she changed that meaning, and she changed that meaning to be something urban, chic, and sophisticated. We also have a focus on Chanel No. 5. This is the perfume that she invented in 1921, which was, again, revolutionary. She changed what perfume could be. Before that, scents or perfume scents were quite flowery, with the intention of imitating a floral sense. She used 80 ingredients in her Chanel No. 5 in order to create a mix of scents that would create something truly unique. And it was truly successful, and even remained successful when she closed her house in 1939. It still continued to sell, and it still continued to be promoted by fabulous icons of the period, and a shifting icon of femininity, Marilyn Monroe, who said in 1952, when the Chanel house was still closed, that it was the only thing that she wore to bed. So that quote tells us that she created something in 1921 that was still very, very relevant in 1952, and also something that was relevant beyond the figure of the garçon, which was the sort of quite boyish female figure of the 1920s, and into other eras and other personifications of femininity. So she reopens her house in 1954, and 1953, but presents her first collection in 1954. And it's then that she also presents a revised version of femininity that is adaptable to the era that she's in. So what she's seen the women wearing suits during the war, she's seen women go to work during the war, and she's also seen the advent of the new look silhouette with its cinched waist and its very full skirt. And she feels quite determined that this isn't quite the silhouette that she wants to see women wearing, or that women necessarily want to be wearing. So she opens her house and she presents a new silhouette. And this is the tweed suit that we're all very familiar with, the box jacket, the knee-length skirt. And she's appropriating the design philosophy that she adapted in the 1920s to the 1950s. It's a soft jacket, it's unlined, it has a chain at the base so that the jacket will fall without needing those sort of stiff, sturdy paddings that a tailored jacket has to keep it in shape. And she also creates a synergy in the design by using the same fabrics in her linings as she does in the blouses and vests underneath. So she creates another template based on what she has developed in the 20s and 30s, and this continues through the 50s, the 60s, and even to the present day. And what we see in the exhibition in the very last room is how she's reinvented those codes again for the 1960s and 70s, and we recognise them still in what we wear today, because what we continue to wear today are the things that she introduced to us, such as the little black dress and the suit, and then also other design innovations that came from there, such as the long shoulder strap on her 2.5 bag, which takes the chain of the Chanel suit and weaves a leather cord through it so that it doesn't jingle jangle and make noise when you walk around. That long shoulder strap, again, is a combination of practicality and design. And that is Gabrielle Chanel's primary contribution to design and to fashion. That combination of form and function and that beautiful synergy that she creates in those pieces. So thank you. I hope you'll visit the exhibition now and enjoy some of those great pieces. Thank you very much.